enables you to configure timing of ITMAT generation. For instance, if I look at ITMAT, 1.5.0 export frequency. I need to log in again. So the frequency of the CDS, which I installed on my local machine, was set as it's too long. 10 hours. No, it's more. Sorry, I'm not very good at mathematics. Anyway, so depending on your preference or depending on your business requirements, legal requirements, you can set interval frequency of generation of ITMAT message on your CDS local, or you can set a particular time to generate ITMAT message. For instance, if you would like CDS to generate ITMAT message 10 o'clock, 10:30, and the like, you can set the fixed times. Or you can just set a frequency of ITMAT generation. So maybe 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Okay, if you set a CDS to generate ITMAT message every 30 minutes, it means that if your staff capture customs declaration in the CDS now, but CDS doesn't generate ITMAT message after 30 minutes, in 30 minutes. And if your staff capture an item concerned, IPS returns the warning message. There's no ITMAT generated. So this is how this warning message works. So maybe it can be just warning message because ITMAT will be generated afterwards. It's not generated yet, so that maybe you can put a message like ITMAT is not generated yet. Or if you would like to, if you would like IPS to do more strict control, you can block the operation. So it's same for no data. You can select just select if IPS gives you warning message or block the operation. So as Jan told us, from March 2023, we need to close consignment with the item that are matching with all of the applicable regulations, including ITMAT message. So that in that case, it's good to block operation for the item without ITMAT message, and with pending referrals, or with no or do not load message. Then you can you'll be able to control strictly before you close the consignment. So I hope you could understand more clearly. And I will show you some example. I will demonstrate. For the first one, I will use no data configuration. Item is the declaration of the item is not existing in the CDS. Okay, this time I capture registered with goods identifier. Let me go back to the configuration of EAD check functionality. In case there's no ITMAT message, no declaration data in the CDS, IPS should block the operation. Maybe it's good to change the background color to red. It looks more serious. Okay, I changed the configuration, then go back to capturing EMB scanning and the destination country CH and weight 1.5 kilo and mail category airmail. Then click add. So here you see, yeah, IPS said that no customs declarations in the CDS. Please capture declaration. And if I click OK, this item don't go anywhere. You just block the item. Normally, this item is going to the item list, but IPS prevents this item from going to the item list because there's no data. And if I will copy it. So I'm going to the CDS screen. And I will capture declaration in the CDS. So here is create declaration for outbound item at post. It is going to Switzerland, Swiss Post, and name. Yeah, just for test purpose. Let me go quickly. I put one book. Net weight 1.2 kilo, and the amount. Then I put nature of the item. I select it as a gift. So I capture everything, every mandatory fields, and I click store. Okay, now the data is in the CDS, but CDS has not generated ITMAT because I set the frequency of generation of ITMAT is 30 minutes. So CDS will run the EDI message generation mechanism after 30 minutes after. So this should be generation of ITMAT message. Maybe I think it's better to exit and go back to the same screen and put the same identifier. And the destination country, Switzerland, and net gross weight 1.5 kg. And it's airmail. Just a moment, please. Let me check EAD check configuration. Okay. Let me check if CDS happen to generate item message. And before doing so, I will check if the service is running. The service is running. Okay. Yeah. My apology. CDS has already generated item message for the item I captured. Let me do. Let me simulate again. I'm sorry for this. Yeah. So again, seeing the warning message configured by using no ITMAT is very rare case, because CDS is frequently running generation of ITMAT message. So maybe you set CDS to run EDI message generation mechanism running every 30 minutes, or every 1 hour. So that is very rare case. Most likely, you can utilize no data configuration to make sure that all of the item that containing goods has item message. And you can block the operation if the item doesn't have item message. Okay, let me try again. I will scan the new item. So I do the same. This is just test. I go quickly. So I set gift as nature of the goods and store. Okay, see this as data. Then I go back to letters and EMB scanning screen. And put weight. Okay. So now you see that. So this item has declaration data in the CDS, but this ITMAT generation. Okay. So this is how it works. Do you have a better understanding on this functionality? This is my question to Cambodia Post. It's very.
Yeah, let me check with my IT team.
Yes.
You have any question? We have two groups of attendants here. The IT team, they are okay with this. There's no question.
So if I may, I'd like to share my screen and one slide only, please.
Oh, yes. Okay, I will stop sharing. Just a moment, please. Yeah, I stopped. Yeah.
Just a second. I'm not able to do that. I don't know why. Are you able to see my screen or not yet?
It's not yet. Maybe Jan, if you can send me the slide, I can open it and share my screen, if it is possible.
Okay, so continue, and I will send it, and I present a little bit later. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Jan. Okay, if you have no question for the moment, I will continue some CDS relevant thing. Then I come to AR flag. So in the CDS, in the IPS and the CDS, if I understood your current status correctly, you are trying to integrate the CDS and your custom system, and this is my understanding. And after you integrate CDS with your custom system, a CDS can import custom decision to the CDS. Then IPS calls CDS, IPS access CDS, and asking if the item has custom decision or not. You will use it mostly for inbound mail.
Yes, the current project that we have with UPU is the integration of Asigoda and CDS.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
We just already launched last week.
Yes. Okay. So once CDS and Asigoda integrated, and Asigoda gives a custom decision to the CDS, IPS can call the custom decision to the CDS.
I do not understand the detail yet, but I think that is the intention. Yeah.
Yes. So that you can, if you integrate IPS, CDS, and Asigoda, you can see custom decision from the IPS by configuration. So I will show you. I will demonstrate it, and we can go into the detail after you successfully integrate your CDS and Asigoda. We can go more detail.
All right.
Okay. This is just for demonstration, and it's good to know that IPS has capability to show the customs decision in the IPS screen. Let me search declarations with customs decision for inbound. And I pick some of items, one of items that has a customs decision. Okay. So here is a customs decision. So you can, as I told you, you can import customs decision from Asigoda to CDS. Yeah, let me. Okay, I will use this.
You are not sharing.
It has custom. Ah, sorry. I'm sorry. My apology. Yeah. Sorry for this. Okay. Now I think you can see my screen. So on the right, here is a CDS screen, and this item has custom item must be presented. So I will scan it in the IPS. I have already integrated IPS and the CDS, and IPS screen can show decision in the CDS. Actually, it's from Asekuda in your case. If I open EMS and inbound EMD scanning screen. So first I scan receptacle. It's from CH. I scan receptacle, mailback ID, then scan item identifier. Okay, here is another thing, another possible IPS and CDS integration. You see CDS IPS automatically populated recipient addresses. Recipient address is coming from the CDS item message. If you need to import addresses from the CDS, you can configure IPS to do so. This is the another thing. If I click add, yeah, it gives me customs decision. This item must be presented to customs. This is the decision from customs. So likewise, you can integrate IPS and the CDS, and your staff never miss to present item to customs if custom decision is item must to customs. So this is just a demonstration. Okay. Now I finish CDS and IPS integration part. Jan, did you send?
Yes, I sent.
Okay, just a moment. Let me open my email. Just a moment. Yes, I received.
If you open the presentation, go to the last slide, please.
Yes, go to the last slide. Yeah. Okay. Now I share my screen.
Not yet. Yes,
so this is, yeah.
Yes, and open this last slide, please, as a big one. Yes.
Yes.
So on this slide, I'd like just to explain what we are talking about when we speak about EAD check functionality from high-level point of view. Of course, I don't know the details which Kazuo is explaining you, but generally, when we speak about the EAD check functionality, we are talking about new functionality of IPS to help you as a designated operator who is sending your items containing the good to abroad, whether all electronic advanced data requirements are met before you hand over the items to the carrier. It means that this system, this postal software application, will help you to facilitate the risk assessment process. It means to check whether all items containing the good have ITMAT messages, as Kazuo already mentioned, whether for those messages we have also nested predes messages. It means predes message which contain also receptacle with that item. And this functionality, after will check this situation 3 times. The first time, the IPS will check whether the item has ITMAT when you are scanning the item, the barcode on the item. The second time, the system is checking whether there is an ITMAT message if the receptacle, if you are giving the closing the receptacle and you are scanning receptacle label. Of course, if you send ITMAT message to the country of destination, you are waiting, or the system is waiting for a feedback from a country of destination. It means for example, you are sending the item from Cambodia to, let's say, Germany. And if your ITMAT message is sent to Germany, the Deutsche Post and Deutsche Customs or German Customs could send you a feedback. Do not load that message because we have a problem with that addressee or with that sender, or we need more scanning or more information. So they can send you, we call it request for information, request for screening, or do not load message. If such message exists, then of course Kazuo will explain you that, or maybe Javier already explained, that in that case you have to send additional information through the ITMAT, or you will need to scan the item or take item out of the receptacle if there is a do not load message. But if no open referral, no RFI, RFS, or do not load messages coming from the country of destination, you scan a receptacle and there is no message, the system will allow you also create consignment and close the consignment. The third time, when the system is checking everything, if everything is open, okay, and there is no open referral, is when you are closing consignment. And when you close the consignment, the system will automatically assign or create AR flag into the carded message. And this is sent to the carded message is sent not to the destination country, but to the carrier. And carrier have some kind of guarantee that the risk assessment process was made, and there is no request from country of destination to investigate something more, and can be sure that there will be no problem if the carrier will bring that receptacle to the country of destination. Many carriers already that if you are not providing AR flag into the carded message, they will not take your receptacles at the airport on their board. So what I wanted to say with this slide is that the risk assessment process is managed by EAD check functionality, is made all the time or 3 times during the process before you are sending carded message, and this EAD check functionality automatically will assign AR flag. As I understood earlier, and maybe Kazuo will confirm it later, that if for some items in the consignment there is no ITMAT, or for some item there is open referral, you will not be able to close consignment. The consignment will not be allowed to be closed, and you will not be able to send carded message. Message will be sent only if all these requirements are met. So I wanted to explain you that this EAD functionality is not working only once. It's working all the time before you are trying to close the consignment. And this functionality helps you to be sure that you are meeting all requirements, and your carrier will have no problem to convert carded messages to cargo messages and file these messages to the destination customs before landing of that flight to the country of destination. I don't know whether I was clear or not. Of course, I would appreciate any feedback from Cambodia Post or from Kazuo, whether you understood what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Jan, for your very clear explanation. For Cambodia Post, do you have any question?
I will go around the table, so ask my colleague. មានយល់ពិសេសដែលគាត់បញ្យល់មិញយ៉ាងគាត់បញ្យល់បាទតែចាំខ្ញុំមិនខ្ញុំបកស្រាយបញ្ជាក់តាមក្រោយពី message របស់គាត់តន់ទេបាទគាត់សួរថាស្អីដែលគាត់បញ្យល់លើ slide នេះ slide លេខ18ហ្នឹងយើងស្ដាប់តន់អត់យល់នៅគាត់និយាយនេះដែលយ៉ាងគាត់បញ្យល់ហើយខ្ញុំបកស្រាយតាមក្រោយណានិយាយពី there are some language barriers, so I will clarify this with my colleagues later on this slide.
Okay, Meng, thank you for your comment. I can inform you that we will organize one more session led by me on transport operational issues, and I will present that slide again soon. So if you have any questions, of course, you can raise that question later, or you can send anytime the email to me or to Kazuo. I know that online training is not easy to follow. I know that there are also some language barriers. So one of the message through this workshop is that if you have any problem to set up any functionality, please contact Kazuo. If you do not understand any operational issues, please contact me. So this is not the last session to help you with this setting. So this is just training for administrator. And if you have any issue, now you have also the right contact to help you anytime you need. Thank you.
Just one more question from another colleague. I saw everybody. Thank you. One question from my colleague, Jan, just 1 second.
Hi, Jan.
Good morning or good afternoon to you.
Yes, just a question there. For the consignment level, if there is no ultimate containing, you said that we can know if there is no ultimate information, we can know it. And if so, how can we solve with this problem?
Thank you very much for your question. I will ask Kazuo to explain better, but my understanding, because I'm operational guy, not IT guy, but my understanding is that the system is checking for all items containing the good in the consignment, whether there is ITMAT. If there is no ITMAT, you cannot send that item in the consignment. It means you have to take out the item from receptacle and to scan the receptacle again and create and then you will be able to create a consignment message. So Kazuo, am I right? Possible to take out the item from the receptacle, close the receptacle once again, and then to create the cartridge message?
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yes, you can. Yeah, we can do. And I would like to make some simulation how IPS can give the IPS users warning message and list of items without ITMAT message. Did we reply your question?
Sorry, Kazuo. I think it must be clear. And that my understanding is that you can also send items without ITMAT if it's not sent to the country which is requiring these messages?
Yes, CDS doesn't generate and send ITMAT message. IPS also gives the users warning message and give a list of items without ITMAT message. And the users can remove item from the mailbag and scan customs declaration and put the item again to the receptacle and close dispatch, then consignment.
Okay, you are right, because as I said earlier, the card it should contain AR flag, applicable regulation flag, but only to the countries requiring this AR flag. We call it classic countries, pre-loading advanced cargo information countries. It means, simply said, when you send something to the European Union, the items must have AR flag. If you wish to send something to Thailand or Japan, the carded message do not need AR flag. So that's the reason why the system will let you know the warning message. This is the item without ITMAT or without some information. But if it's item to European Union, the warning message should let you know that you should take out this item and send ITMAT later, and or if you do not have item information about the customs issues item for ITMAT message, then you cannot give the item inside. But if it's the item for example, Thailand, and the warning message will let you know that ITMAT is missing, but Thailand Post has no problem to deliver also without ITMAT messages, okay, the system will, even if ITMAT is missing, to leave the item in the consignment. It means that this EAD functionality will not stop closing the consignment, will just give you warning message. Please check whether it is not for the country in the European Union, and if it is for European Union, take it out. If it's not for European Union, close the consignment and send carded. But in that case, carded will be without AR flag. Am I right, Kazuo?
Yes, yeah, you are right. The users can configure EAD check functionality by country for each country, so that you can configure EAD check functionality for Thailand. Just give warning message, but for European Union countries, maybe block the operation. Yeah,
Thank you very
I
much.
can show you some.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kazuo. I will not interrupt you anymore. That's all from my side. Now I will leave it everything on you. You can show them how to set up this EAD functionality, maybe country per country, according to the legal requirements. Thank you very much.
Yes, I
and
do.
Sorry for
yes,
this.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, so if you can take 1 minute to explain or summarize the point of this slide.
Yes.
Sorry,
yes.
1 minute.
Yes, please take your time.
Thank you again, Kazu.
You're welcome.
I will turn off the mic. ការនាំចូលទៀតនៅលើ Airbnb ឬនៅឯកសាររបស់យើងដែលយើងសាកទៅ Okay, so Sang, we are done. We can continue.
Yes, okay, I will continue. Okay, I start with configuration of EAD status check functionality for individual country level. By default, I think it's better to open it from the beginning. If you open it for the very first time and click search, you see default configuration. And if you click edit, on the elements on the upper part, they are all blank. It means that this configuration will be applied for all of the country, destination country, origin country, mail class, handling class, product type, and the postal status, regardless those things. Unless you configure country-specific configuration. For instance, as Jan mentioned, if I configure EAD check functionality for Thailand, a more relaxed one. Origin country is, in my case, I installed IPS as Albania. Origin country is Albania, and destination country is Thailand. And if I leave mail class, it will be applied for all of the mail classes, regardless the mail classes. So I leave mail class as blank and no data. So no data means, again, I go back to no data is applied if the declarations are not existing in the CDS. So, since I would like to configure IPS more relaxed measure for Thailand, I will put just warning message. Item out. Perhaps better to capture just warning message, and I don't block the operation for Thailand. And no ITMAT, it's safe. Just showing warning message. I don't block the operation. And click OK. For no referral, no pending referral, or no do not load, they are not applied. They are not applicable for the outgoing mail to Thailand because Thailand is outside of European Union. I click store. So yeah, I told you yesterday, this warning message is a bit scaring. We will be improve the warning message in the next release of the IPS 2021 Service Pack 1. So you after the release, you don't see the scaring warning message again in the IPS. I will create a dispatch, one dispatch to Thailand, and showing you that IPS doesn't block the operation. Before doing so, I need to set a route to Thailand. Yeah. I set a dummy route from Albania to Thailand. There's no direct flight, but just for sake of time, let me set a dummy route, which is direct segment. Now I'm ready to create one dispatch to Thailand. I will receive one parcel without data, without ITMAT message. I put item identifier. And destination is Thailand, and weight, let's say 10 kilogram, and airmail. Add. It gives me warning message, but this is just warning message. No ITMAT message. Is better to capture the ITMAT message and better to capture customs declaration. And click store. Then I go to creation of dispatch. It's airmail and Thailand, Bangkok. And I will create a CN dispatch, ordinary parcel. Then I will add the item without ITMAT message. Just add. Again, it gives me warning message, but this is just warning. It doesn't stop operation. If I close, this item is going to the below field, list of the item. And it doesn't prevent me from closing dispatch. I can close. And it gives me a warning message, EAD status check summary. But it is not blocking, just warning message. I can close. So it's same for consignment. Go to all mail classes and transport and consignments, and create and close consignment. And this is going to Bangkok. That's consignment. It also gives me warning message, but it doesn't stop. Just with warning message. This is the one configuration for countries outside of European Union, or countries does not require strict control of, let's say, transport security. For European Union, you can configure IPS to do more strict control by using the same configuration screen. National management and configuration of EAD status checks. I'll make configuration to Deutsche Post. So I have a general configuration that will be applied for all of the country unless you have a country-specific configuration. Origin country is Albania, always Albania. Destination, I leave mail classes, handling class, and other things are blank. This time, I will configure the rule, configure more strict rule, because it is going to country in the European Union. I want IPS to stop operation if there is no data, if there is no ITMAT, if there is pending referral, please do not load item ref from Germany. Since strict, I select red color. And I put strong word, capture declaration. I do the same for ITMAT, no ITMAT. For ITMAT, yeah, it can be the same. For no ITMAT, as I told you, this is applied for the item with declaration. ITMAT. If you wait for ITMAT generation in the CDS, it will be cleared. But for end users, it's the same. So that it's better. Anyway, there's no ITMAT yet, so that anyway, it's good to have it's good to block the operation to be sure that ITMAT has already been sent for this. I just say no ITMAT. And for no referrals, no referral means that there is pending referrals. As Jan explained, if there is a referral that requires more information or screening, we call it as a pending referral. If there is pending referral, you can configure IPS to stop the operation. Perhaps the message can be do action for referral. Of course, you can select more understandable message for end users. Oh, sorry, I mistakenly click OK. For do not load. This is extremely rare case, but for do not load, absolutely you need to stop the operation so that there's no no choice. You need to stop operation. Okay. I configured strict rule for Germany. Item going to Germany. And I can do the same for France and other European unions. In that case, you don't have to do it from scratch. You can copy the existing configuration. If you apply the same rule for France, you can copy the rule you set for Germany and just change the country. France, okay. Spain, yes. Italy, yes. Like, you can copy the configuration and click so and exit. You can ignore this warning message. Now I'm ready to show you some example. Before doing so, I need to let me create a route to Germany. I think there's no route for Germany. Let me check reports, routing plan reports, set date range. Okay, I don't have route to Germany, so that let me quickly set route to Germany. I'm ready to create dispatch to Germany. Here, I want to make some distinction between the item that have item message and the item that don't have item message. Let me change the timing of frequency of generation again. I set it as 30 minutes initially, but I set it as 0.3 minutes, very quick. Then I log in as Albanian operator and create a declaration for the item going to Germany. Just make sure I paste the item ID. Then I create a declaration to Germany. Oh, before doing so, perhaps it's all right. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to check if there is EDI partnership, but I believe I set EDI partnership from Albania to Germany. There's no problem. So item that will be generated. Now I'm going to EDI export folder and see if the ITMAT was generated. Check service. Yeah, it's running. Yes, here is ITMAT message from Albania to Germany. And it has the item. Yeah, it should be the same. Okay, I can use this item as item that have ITMAT message. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, let me just do configuration. Okay. Anyway, I start with EMB scanning. EMB scanning. I put item identifier that is with item at message. Destination Germany. Let's say 1 kilo and ML. There's no warning message. And for the item without item at message, I will change the last numeric digit, numeric ID part. This item doesn't have item at message, or even there's no data. Yeah, it gives me a warning message, capture declaration. And since IPS gives me block message at the time of EMB scanning, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. So that at the EMB level, you can prevent this item from inserting into the mailbag because it's EMB scanning. At the time of EMB scanning, IPS can block the item, so that unless item has item at message, you cannot insert item in the receptacle and close the receptacle, and then close dispatch and close consignment. But I want to show you the list of the item without item at message at the time of closure of the dispatch. So I will make some change on the configuration. I click search. I change configuration for the item that are going to Germany. Here, I just make it, I just configure those things that IPS just gives warning message, because I want to go to EMC scan, and I want to show you the list of the item that don't have item at message. I go to parcel and create and close. Okay, before, yeah, it's a little bit go back and forth, but I need to. I have already scanned the first item that was with item at message, but I didn't. I couldn't manage to store the item at EMB scanning screen because IPS blocked me from prevented me from storing this item because there's no item at message. There's no data. This time, I just configured the relaxed rule. It gives me warning message, but it doesn't prevent me from adding the item in the list, and it doesn't preventing me from storing. I can go to the next level, create and close dispatch. I create one dispatch to Germany, mail category airmail, and ordinary parcel. And edit. First item is item ITMAT message with ITMAT. IPS should not give me warning message. Okay, this is another one. This is integration between IPS and CDS. If CDS detects that this item has prohibited or restricted articles in the item, IPS gives warning message. This is another thing. This is another integration between IPS and CDS. Just warning message. This is not relevant to AR flag, EAD check functionality. For the next one, this is not with ITMAT message, but I will lack configuration. I can go further. So it is not blocking. I can go further, but if you want, maybe if you want, you can cancel it and remove the item and close, remove the item and scan and capture the customs declaration on this item, then insert this item into the IPS, then close the dispatch. And if I go to the configuration, national management, and EAD check status, I will revert the configuration to the strict one. Strict control, but the configuration to block the operation. Then I go back to, excuse me, parcel dispatch and try to insert. Okay, I didn't remove that. I remove this, send, store, and exit. Then I insert the item without ITMAT message. Since I reverted IPS configuration to the very strict one, block the operation. No ITMAT, and if I close, it doesn't go, it disappeared. So do you know what it means? It means that unless the item has the ITMAT message, IPS does not accept the item into the mailback. So that for Germany, sorry, I need to log into remote desktop. Okay, where am I? Excuse me. Let me scan this item again. Item without. The item with ITMAT is in item without item at message, and IPS blocks the item, and this item doesn't go anywhere. I repeat that unless the item has item at message, IPS doesn't accept users from putting item into the receptacle. So that user cannot close the item without item at message. And users cannot close dispatch for the item without item at message. It's same for the consignment. If you set IPS to do the strict control, let's say for European Union countries, Italy, Spain, France, Germany, and so on. And configure IPS to block the operation for the item without data, without item at message, with pending referral, with do not load message. IPS prevents users from insert the item to the receptacle, and even IPS prevent scanning EMP and storing EMP event, so that when you close the consignment, when you close dispatch and consignment, all of the item going to the country that you set in the IPS strict control have item at message, or there's no pending referral, there's no do not load message. So it means that all of the item are load be in the back and close consignment, close dispatch. All of applicable regulations are met. Then IPS gives AR flag 1 onto the carded message. And if I scan, now IPS didn't, and I go back to the CDS and capture customs declaration on this item. Again, I go quickly. Okay, I captured declaration. Then I check EDM message. Yes, EDM message was generated for the item. Item at message was generated for this item. Then I go back to the IPS and scan the item again. And this time, IPS shouldn't give me warning message, just give me warning message for prohibitions and restrictions. There are some restrictions on the item that contains toys to Germany. This is just warning message. It doesn't prevent me from close dispatch, and there's no list because all of the item has met the applicable regulations. And if I go to consignment level, all mail classes, IPS doesn't prevent me from closing consignment. I close consignment. And all applicable regulations are met. And IPS should give AR flag 1 into the credit message. This is a bit technical, but I will let IPS to generate credit message. I will show you credit message. What AR flag 1 looks like. Now I'm going to IPS folder and EDI output. Okay, I think this is the one. I think this is the credit message for the dispatch for the consignment I closed. There are a lot, but anyway. But here. The first one is regarding consignment to Thailand. I think the next one will be consignment to Germany. Yeah, it is still BKK Thailand. And the next one should be to Germany. Yes, this one is Albania to Germany. Yeah, in the standard, this part is air flag. AVS is aviation security, and it gives AR flag 1. So it means that all of the applicable regulations are met to this consignment. So that IPS gave this consignment AR flag 1. So it's automatic for IPS to give AR flag 1 for the consignment if all applicable regulations are met. And because IPS doesn't allow you to by your configuration, IPS doesn't allow you to close consignment if the item doesn't have item at message, or item has opening referral, or item has do not load message. Yeah, here is an overview of AR flag, how AR flag works in the IPS. Do you have any questions so far?
Let me check with my colleague. Namin Tinggal is question? No. I think we can pass for now. If they have any question, I will pass it to you by email.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Benesa. Okay. Then, yes, this is a question from Jan. Implement paper-free routes in the IPS. I guess it was like I know some airlines are using carded message for alternative of a CN38, and use the carded message for invoicing the air conveyance dues payable to airlines. Jan, yes, please.
Thank you, Kazuo. This question I included to the list of questions which I asked you, Kazuo, to present, but just for explanation to our colleagues from Cambodia Post. Of course, paper-free transport is very useful activity only when you are able to meet some prerequisites. At this moment, you are not exchanging carded resident message carriers, so you are not able to use carded. You are not able to use paper-free transport activity. I will share with you during the next transport training some minimum requirements to be able to use paper-free transport. Paper-free transport means that you would be able to transport your mail by carriers without using CN38 in a hard copy. All information would be only in carded and resident messages, and this information could be used, as Kazuo said, for paper-free accounting, for example. You can pay your payment between you and carriers and posts would be based only on the EDI messages exchange. But as first, we need to start transmit carded resident messages with your carriers. I hope that we will do that with Turkish Airlines or Qatar Airways very soon. And after that, we can speak about the paper-free transport. So what Kazuo will present now is immediately possible for those designated operators already exchanging carded resident messages and agreed with their customs that the customs don't need also a CN38 in hard copy, and that it's enough for them to have ultimate messages in electronic format. But for Cambodia Post, it will be just a second step after implementation of carded resident messages with some carriers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan, for the clarification. Yeah, as Jan said, it is ready in the IPS, and screen there is EDI partners and exchanges. And when Cambodia Post is ready, and if you use Qatar Airways or Turkish Airways, and they are ready for handling carded and rusted message for paper-free transport document. In the IPS screen, you have I guess it was TK, Turkish Airways. So IPS has already had capability to send carded message to Turkish Airways, and of course Qatar Airways. So once Cambodia and capable airlines agree on exchanging carded and receipt message, you'll be able to do paper-free transport. And the next question is, include new carrier into the IPS. Okay, this is done by the PTC. If new carrier not in the list would like to start exchanging carded message, I think Jan, you're working with Stefan about this. If the new carrier is ready to exchange carded and receipt message with postal operators, we will add this carrier in the list. And Cambodia Post, what Cambodia Post need to do? I know your IT colleagues very well, but you can just visit UP website. Jan, please, yes, before I'm going to the technical part. Yes, please.
Thank you, Kazuo. I'd like to explain difference between new carriers and new carriers, because when we speak about new carriers, we can think about carriers which are still not EDI capable. It means, for example, now we are working with airline Vistara from India. Theoretically, this new carrier will be able to exchange data. Then PTC will add this new EDI capable carrier to the list of to the code list 108 and also to the IPS. It's done by PTC. But in the case of Cambodia Post, which is still not exchanging carded resident messages with Qatar Airways to exchange carded messages and resident messages, the Qatar Airways are already on the list because they are already in the code list of UPU code list 108. They are exchanging data with many others, but not with Cambodia Post yet. So if Cambodia Post would like to use this new carrier for Cambodia Post, but not a new carrier from the code list, they can do that also without the PTC, just to click on that carrier in the list. Am I right, Kazuo?
Yes, you're right. And after we add a new carrier on the code list 108, maybe I start with code list 108. I think it's it's no big difference. I mean, if you go to standard SCMS, and in the SCMS standard code list management system. So if you go to, I guess it was 168 usage of postal EDI addresses. And you see, I think I have already downloaded this code list. And it's good to download in Excel sheet. Yeah, I think it was located in downloads the A, and I filter it by carded and versed. Carded, versed. Then you of capable entities exchange carded and rested message. And among them, you see some carriers in the list. As Jan told, once, okay, for instance, HVN, this is Vietnam Airlines. Once the carrier become capable to exchange carded and rested message, the PTC will add this carrier onto this code list. Then we will update our so-called reference data of the IPS. And then Cambodia Post access to the UPU website. In the UPU website, you have a login. So you need to have a username and password. Jan, you raise your hand. Please go ahead.
Sorry, Kazu, it's a mistake. Sorry, I will give my hand down.
Okay. Thank you. So Cambodia Post, your IT should have a username and password to log in to the private section of the UP website.
The IT they have their username. Yes, IT they have their own username and password.
Okay, great. Maybe you know what. But just I refresh your memory. Once you are going to the private part, you can have a dashboard. In the dashboard, you have my area, my section, my products. If you click my products, you have a knowledge base, IPS knowledge base. Under IPS knowledge base, you have, this is another thing, but I come back to, it's relevant to aviation. I come back to you later. And if you scroll down, you have reference data, and you download reference data for IPS 2021 and apply the reference data in the IPS. Then IPS, you see new capable airlines for credit and receipt. And you can also use OAG, Official Aviation that lists all of the commercial flights. We update once a month. This is another one, but if you for routing plan, legacy way was that you create transport routes manually, but after release of IPS 2015, if I remember correctly, OAG, you can import official aviation guide instead of entering all of the flight information manually. You can use official aviation guide and import the necessary legs into the IPS. If you don't use official aviation guide option, I recommend that you would try to use it on your test environment. And if you become comfortable enough, you can use it on your production environment. Okay, if you don't have any question, I go to the next question. Okay, include the LHOT for inbound and outbound into the credit. Yes, you can set in the transport segment. Just to be quick, I click search and show you existing transport segment. And if I click one of them, Okay. Okay. In my case, I don't set latest handover time, but you can set latest handover time to ground handler or carrier itself. So, for instance, if you need to hand the consignment over to ground handler maybe 2 hours before of the flight departure time, you can set it. Then this time will be reflected on the carded message. If you set, if you set latest handover time to carrier or ground handler, you can do it. And it will reflect it onto the carded message. And the next question was relevant to CS consignment security declaration. I think many European Union countries are required to print or send ECSD consignment security declaration. Yeah, I'm sometimes mixing with the CDS, but it's CSD, consignment security declaration. You can set if you are required. Only if you are required, you can set CSD elements and national management, and it's under routing plan because it's relevant to airlines. Consignment security declaration. Yes, Jan, please. You have you raise your hand.
Thank you, Kazuo, for getting me the floor again. I have two comments, one to the previous topic and the second one to this topic. Previously, you were talking about the latest handover times. Many designated operators are not providing latest handover times in their carded messages. It would be great if you are able to set up to include this information into the carded messages. It's very useful for some kind of measurements when the item is in the responsibility of post or when the item should be in the responsibility of carriers. These information are also very important to measure performance of the country in comparison with this latest handover time. So it's not mandatory, but it's very useful, and I'd like you to consider that. Whether LHOT is or is not in the carded messages, you will see also in your compliance reports. You joined the compliance report just 1 month ago, so I'm sure that you got the first compliance reports now, and we can analyze together later these compliance reports. Thanks to these compliance reports, we also will monitor how many designated operators are using this ECSD or Electronic Consignment Security Declaration. Again, this is not mandatory. ECSD or Electronic Consignment Security Declaration is optional. It means that the designated operator as Cambodia Post can choose whether you are using CSD, Consignment Security Declaration, as a hard copy or as an electronic message. It depends also on you whether you are or not a regulated agent. Regulated agent means that you are some designated operators are awarded by their civil aviation authority as a regulated agent. It means somebody who is able to meet all aviation security requirements. I know that Cambodia Post is not a regulated agent. It means that you are using for scanning of your items handling agents at the airport. And that handling agent is responsible to create consignment declaration as a hard copy, because without the CSD, your mail would not be possible to get on board to the carrier. All carriers around the world will take on board only when the CSD is created. So at this moment, CSD is created by your handling agents. Maybe in the future, when Cambodia Post would be awarded as a regulated agent, you can switch to eCSD. Not now, but, and I hope that Kazuo will explain it, but there is a possibility that even if you are not a regulated agent, you can create information, eCSD data element in the carded message with information who is your regulated agent, not you, but somebody. So such information theoretically could be in the carded message of Cambodia Post. Am I right, Kazuo? A little bit more, please.
Yes, you are right. Yeah, I will explain how Cambodia Post can configure CSD. Okay, let me go to how you can configure a CSD in the IPS. Yeah, it's under routing plan. It's relevant to routing plan, of course. Yeah, I have configured one thing. First thing you need to do, you need to configure CSD, CN70 elements, templates. I click new. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, there are a lot of configurations in this in CSD. You can select consignment security information. There are four selectivities. So at the moment, I don't know which one you should select, but let me select secured for passenger flight. So this measurement is a secured measurement for passenger flight, for instance. And party code. So party code, if I understood correctly, party code should be the party, the regulated party for the for issuing eCSD.
Yes.
Thank you, Jan. So maybe party code can be Cambodia KH, your country code is KH, and aviation security AVS agency, for instance. So it's like Cambodia security agency, just for instance. Then on the security status region and detailed information part. So this is the description if the consignor, if the consignment, in case of you, this is Cambodia Post, is the type of consignor. So if Cambodia Post is account consignor or non-consignor, maybe account consignor can be more reliable, I guess. Then Cambodia Post, KHA, and the name. And add. And in the middle tab, you can set screening method. It can be like X-ray. And applicable authority, border security agency. Security and put some applicable regulation. I need to do that anyway. Aviation security. And then screening exemption. If there's some exemption from the screening, you can add. And this part is security textual statement information. This was controlled by can be like, yeah, again, so just simplify aviation security. And you can add as many textual security status as you need. And transport direction. So most of the case, it's import and add. And the next one is relevant to the AR flag. So here you need to select one of the four. So it can be customs, aviation security, border control, guarantee. So maybe border control and your reference and add. Okay, then I need to CN70 code. So when you are required to generate CN70, perhaps you can discuss with the Border Security Agency or Aviation Security Control Agency and decide CN70 code, proper CN70 code. I tentatively set it as KH, Aviation Security. Cambodia AVS. Then click OK. So I set the template. And then you can associate the office and template. Okay, I have associated because Albania just have one exchange office, so that this office has already been associated to the existing one. But if you click edit, you can associate with this office, exchange office, to the newly set template. So everything coming from this office will use this template, and so on. And okay, just for sake of for the time, I will show you carded message. Yeah, let me check if it is carded message. Yeah, okay, this is carded message with electronic CSD. So here you can see some elements. This is secured transport. And this was, I think this was applicable agency, police. It's a bit funny, but just for demonstration. And you are known consigner, and so on. And it has AR flag 1. So here, this part is ECSD part. And if you set IPS CN70 consignment security declaration, this template will be in this your carded message. When you are ready to generate CSD, you can configure IPS and include eCSD in the guided message, and you can print a paper-based CSD when you close consignment by configuration. To configure IPS to print paper-based CSD, you can go to routing plan international air and sat routes, and I click search. And this is just a test machine, so that there are very few. For instance, like to print CSD for Albania to Japan, I can configure CD. This is IPS. Yeah, I can configure IPS to print CN70 CSD when we close the consignment. And store. I think it was the route for letters. Yeah, that should be okay. And when I close consignment to Japan, IPS will print both CN30 and CSD. I create one dispatch to Japan. And close dispatch. Close dispatch. Then I go to consignment part, all mail classes. Create and close consignments. And I'll find it was carrier was Japan Airlines. I close the consignment. CDS, IPS. IPS would then print CN70 consignment security declaration. Okay. And the other thing Ian mentioned was a compliance report. So I learned that Cambodia Post just participated in the compliance report. And yeah, I know you know, but you can see compliance report from QCS Big Data. It's IQRS. Once you log in QCS, HQCS, QCS Big Data, you have IQRS. Then compliance reports dashboard. Just a moment. IQRS global reporting. Oh, just a moment, please. Let me go back to my my desktop at home. I didn't know that the interface has been changed.
maybe before Kazuo will get in, because it looks that there are some changes due to the BI tool. I'd like just to explain that Cambodia Post joined this compliance project just a few weeks ago. The first report was just generated, and these reports are sent every month to the people indicated by Cambodia Post. From that compliance reports, you will get information about the quality of your messages. There is a few checks or controls through these compliance reports, whether your EMS EVT messages are correct, whether your ITMAT messages are correct, the PRECON, carded and rested messages are correct. What does it mean, correct? Correct means in line with the UPU standards. It means whether they are including all mandatory data elements or whether the information which are in the messages are correct. Correct flight numbers, correct carrier numbers, correct IMPC codes, and many other information are checked to avoid that you are sending not correct data. This is very important to know whether the quality of your data are correct, because if, for example, you will send carded message without, I don't know, right flight codes, then this information, of course, are useless for carriers, or this information are not possible to use for paper-free transport or paper-free accounting, because it would not be correct. Your bills would not be correct. So this is very important. And as I said, on a monthly basis, we are creating these reports. Usually, when the country is joining the compliance project, we are preparing the training for users how to understand these reports. We didn't do that yet for Cambodia Post because we were waiting for a first reports. Now, when we have a first reports, we are ready to arrange a training focused purely on these compliance reports. So there is no need from Kazuo's side to speak about the details, but it would be nice to share a few reports to show you your performance, especially when we speak about the transport, carded and rested compliance, which are not available because you do not have carded rested exchange, but maybe dashboard. In that dashboard, you should see the quality of your all EDI messages. If Kazuo will not be able to get into the system, no problem. As I said, we will organize in a few days after discussion with Meng to choose the best date, the training focused purely on the compliance reports.
Okay, yeah, Jan, can I leave it to you, because I was quite, I'm new for this. I didn't know the change. So maybe during your session, another session with Cambodia Post, could you explain it?
Yes, we will organize that session with Jean-Marc Coeffic, who is creating these compliance reports. Mm-hmm. So there is no need to speak about it now. It was just important to say that these compliance reports exist, and this is excellent tool how to check whether all your settings, for example, how to create the messages are correct. Because if something is not correct, or if some data are not in line with some I don't know, UPU code lists like carriers or many others, IMPCs, then it's very easy to understand or to recognize that in the compliance reports. Compliance reports include not only information that there is a mistake, there is also information how it should be changed. And if you don't understand, or if the problem continues, you can contact Jean-Marc Coeffic. I will give you a contact to him, and we will provide for you a training soon. So I see, Kazuo, that you are not able to get in, and I do not know this BI tool because it's really just in piloting phase. I have different access to the compliance reports. So we can skip this topic at this moment.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jan, for your help. Okay, I'll skip this one. I leave it to Jan and Jean-Marc. Okay, yes, I talked about ECS, yeah, CSD. Then the next question was how you can set IPS to send a Precom message. So it is done in the national management and EDI partners and exchanges. And here in the middle, you have dispatch and consignment for post. Yes, some improvement brought by the new IPS 2021 is that in the past, we listed all of the version of the messages. I mean, you saw previous version 2.0 in the older version, but now we hide the older version of all the messages, so that now you can see all of the applicable newest version of the messages. And if you want to send all of the messages, you can simply click a country level checkbox. Then all of you check all of the messages to be generated by the IPS, including Precom message and Predes 2.1 and RESES and the RESCOM message. And the next one is create credit and receipt message for road transport. Yeah. Again, it's same. Yeah, it's same for it's similar to a new carrier in the IPS. And if existing truck company or other means of transport company become able to handle credit and receipt message, the PTC can add them to the code list. Then we will update reference data. And after that, Cambodia Post download the reference data and apply it in your IPS. Then you'll be able to exchange credit and receipt for surface transport companies. Do you have any questions and comments on the transport part? Before I'm going to the next big one, new parcel bill rates management screen.
No question from me, but let me check with my colleague. Tim, any question? There's no question. Questions.
If I may, I fully understand that such online training is not the same as physical training on site. I know it's not easy to follow up with a small screen and maybe language barrier. So my question, Kazuo, is whether and how will you distribute IPS manual with all details, and whether you are able to provide, I don't know, some kind of guidelines, I don't know, or 2 or 3 slides with information to each of these items or questions, like, for example, implement paper-free rules or include new carrier. Would it be possible to provide this information to our colleagues also through simple presentation with 2 or 3 slides related to each of these topics? And of course, I know that we have many ones or guidelines which would be maybe useful for our colleagues to use. I know that if they are using IPS, they know where they should find the IPS manual. But we have also some additional documents like, I don't know, business requirement specification on EAD check or some others. I think it will be up to Kazuo, up to Stefan and me to collect all of this information and share it with our colleagues in Cambodia. And maybe after this training, when you were listening, Kazuo, maybe you need some time to check, to discuss internally and prepare a list of your questions, which are still not clear, which still need some kind of support from our side. And maybe before online training, physical training in Cambodia, which could be most probably at the beginning of May, before the training, we can organize one more session, online session, but with a little bit opposite format. It means that not Kazuo will present and you will listen, but you will present your still not clear points and Kazuo will be just answering your questions. I think it's very important because my feeling today is that it's one-way communication. And I'm sure because you are using IPS 2021 and I saw that also compliance performance, for example, for item messages are quite good. So you are doing great job when we compare it with others. But still, I'm sure there is a lot of questions on your side to improve the quality, to understand all functionalities, to set up everything correctly. Do not hesitate. Read or discuss what you are listening today, and prepare your list of questions. I'm talking about it because I now need to leave you, and I wanted to say thank you, great thanks to Meng and his team for patience to listen, to understand. As I said, I fully understand there is still a lot of issues to be discussed. So do not consider this training as the last chance to get support from the IB. No, we will continue to support. We will organize more trainings, more specific trainings, and we hope that you will continue in a great job because you are one of the first designated operators graded to the IPS 2021. So from that point of view, I really appreciate your effort, and thanks to PTC and thanks to the project which we have with Japan Post, I'm sure that we will help you even more to understand all issues and to meet all of these requirements. Thank you very much. As I said, I have to leave you now and wish you a great day. Do not hesitate to contact me anytime you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Yeah, I agree with that. Your point, like providing more understandable and visual material to introduce new functions. Yeah, just for your information, what I'm doing now is that I'm answering question by video, showing a way to how you configure the IPS and CDS.
It's excellent way, really excellent idea. Thanks.
Welcome. So if Cambodia Post give me a list of your question, I'll prepare. Just give me a bullet point, then I can prepare for the next session.
So let me add a few points to what Jan has mentioned. I understand that these 2 days session is mostly focused on the IT administrators. And I think our IT has done a lot with the configuration already. And yes, we will come up with a list of questions regarding the configuration and we'll send that to you. And it is very helpful if you could also share with us the manual or operation guide for the setup. But I think has already in touch with you before regarding the IPS and CDS. So I think he will continue to keep in touch with you, Kaiso-san.
Yes, of course.
And
my
for
pleasure.
and for the users side, I think for the users side we have not touched on a lot in this 2-day session. So if possible, the next session would be to focus more on the user side for both CDS and IPS.
Yeah, I get, yes, I agree. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's all for me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your very positive and constructive comment. And if there's no other comments, I'll continue. We have only 30 minutes. Of course, I can follow up. The last one is quite big change, but very big positive change brought by new IPS 2020. Actually, it was brought by IPS 2020 Service Pack 1 or Service Pack 2. This was new parcel bill rate management screen. Let me open IPS and one screen for I think I have prepared something for this. Okay, yeah. Okay, in this in the last section of the session today, I will show you the overview of the new functionality brought by a newer version of IPS, which is new parcel bill rate management screen, which is under accounting process. And if you open the accounting process, you have a rate management section. And you have terminal dues tab. Under terminal dues tab, previously, even now, you have legacy parcel bill rates management screen. And yeah, the title is terminal dues, but this is individual parcel bill rates for dispatched. And previously, we had a free parcel bill rate management screen, but they were not compliant with, they are not compliant with the business requirements. The new screen is just under, a very bottom part of the terminal dues tab. In this screen, this is all inclusive. And there are a lot of improvement. For instance, in the previous screens regarding transit rates, if the transit country applies different transit rates depending on users need to do some workaround to cope with that situation. But new parcel bill management screen, it can deal with that situation. There are 3 tabs: direct rates, and returned rates, and transit rates. For direct rates, it's quite similar to the legacy screen. And if you leave all of them as blank and click search, you can see, okay, maybe it's good to personalize the screen. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, I don't have a right to personalize the screen, but let me change user. Yeah, because I don't have, it didn't have admin right. Add users. I should have. Okay. Yeah, I would like to show you the list of the destination and list of rates. And I needed to change, add some elements. Okay, now I'm able to personalize the display. Okay. So here is a list of product type, and this destination operator, destination country. But I would like to bring rates. I think your IPS administrator knows you can personalize the display. You can change the order. You can add and delete the elements in the list. I would maximize the screen. I set destination country first on the very left, then mail category and product type, then valid from and valid to, and rate per parcel and rate per kilogram and store. Okay. So by doing so, you can see name of the country, operator name, and relevant rates at glance. At the same the legacy screen, this rate were coming from our reference, our parcel bill rate update data. Yeah, I'm sure that your administrator knows that you can download the script that should be run on the database server, and you can get the most updated inward run rates for all of the destinations. We update the inward run rates twice every year, before January and before July. And we publish them to our private part of the website. So the place was the same. I showed you for downloading aviation guide and the reference data. Okay, here. Here is parcel bill rates. And your system administrator can download the SQL script and run the script on the database. Then your parcel bill rate, inward run rates will be most up-to-date. And here is a direct rates part. For direct rates part, basically you don't have to do anything. For returned rates, you need to do. For returned rates, normally when you return parcel, you are obliged to collect inward run rates yourself. I mean, all of the designated operator has a right to collect inward run rates of the operator who returns the parcel. For instance, if Cambodia returns parcel to Japan, Cambodia Post has a right to collect inbound run rates of Cambodia Post. To do so, to configure IPS to do so, you can click New. Excuse me. And the returning operator is always, in your case, it's Cambodia. In this case, I installed IPS as Albanian Post. It's Albanian Post. And the returning too. So in case Albania Post return parcel to Germany, Deutsche Post. I select Deutsche Post and mail category. Excuse me. Then set date of validity. It's valid from January 1st of January this year until December 31st. And normally, maybe if I tick it, normally Albania, which is the operator who is returning the parcel, is obliged, have a right to collect inward run rates belonging to Albania, inward run rates of Albanian Post. So that IRR for returning operator. Then IPS will populate automatically inward run rate payable to Albanian Post. And since this is the airmail, you need to put a conveyance rate per half kilo unit. So if a conveyance rate from Albania to Germany is 0.3 SDR per half kilo unit, you can put it. For air parcels, actually you need to do for all of the destinations. And as similar to other configuration screens, you have possibility to copy the configuration to others. After I set return and configuration for Germany, I can copy it to France. Perhaps I would recommend that you would watch this part. Sorry, it doesn't change. It's same. It's same for others, because this is the inward run rates of a returning operator, which is Albania. It stayed the same. Sorry. You can apply the similar configuration for other operators. You just need to change return to operator and air conveyance rate. And you can do it like this. For return parcels for surface, you don't have to you don't have a right to charge a conveyance charge. In that case, you can put single configuration for all of return to operators. Returning operator is always yourself. In my case, it's Albania. And if you leave return to operator as blank, the configuration will be applied for all of the operators. And mail category can be C, surface. And it is applicable January 1st until 31st of December this year. and I use inward land rates of a returning operator. And this configuration will be applied for all of the operators. For the surface, you don't have to configure one by one. But for air, you need to do. For transit rates, to set transit rates, you need to have CP72 and CP82 and CP81 from transit country. In this demonstration, I will use one example on the UP website, which is this is just simulation. Those are dummy rates. This is not real, but I will use that just for demonstration. This is to configure transit rates. The rate will be appeared on the column 6 and column 8 of the CP87. By default, there's no configuration. So when you switch to IPS 2021, you have already done, but you will need to set transit charges and return charges. To do so, I click New. Here is the field to fill transit operator. So in my case, I'm configuring IPS send parcel through Turkey to the destination. Turkey is a transit country. For parcel that are going to, for instance, to Emirates, Afghanistan, Armenia. I put TRA, Turkish Post, as transit operator and destination country. And if Albania send parcel to Emirates by open transit by Turkish Post, Albania Post can set Turkish Post as transit operator and Emirates as destination country. Then I select mail category and set dates of validity. Then I set transit rate per parcel and per kilogram, listed in the CP82. Here you see transit rate per parcel for the parcel going to Emirates is 0.8 SDR. Per kilogram, there's no rate. I can leave it. Now here is a similar option that you had in the returned parcel. Normally, you are using inward run rates of the destination, so that in many cases, you can tick the box. Then IPS will take inward run rates of the final destination country. And for air parcels, you need to set a conveyance rate and per half kilo. In the CP78, here is air conveyance rate per half kilo unit. And click OK. So as same as return parcel, you have possibility to use copy function. Now I created a transit rate for the parcels going to destined to Emirates through Turkish Open Transit. And now I'm configuring a parcel going to Afghanistan through Turkish Open Transit. You can copy the configuration. In this configuration, the inward run rates of the destination will be changed automatically. If I change from Emirates to Afghanistan, this part will be changed automatically. IPS automatically populates payable to Afghanistan. And transit charge per parcel is the same. And here, a conveyance charge is different. So likewise, you can add. Next one is Armenia. This part will be changed automatically. And mail category, airmail. And transit rate per parcel, okay, is 0.06. And so on. If I restart IPS, all of the rate will be applied in the IPS. If I send parcel to, for example, Afghanistan through Turkey, you will see those rates will be, IPS will use the rate I set for calculation of CP 87. So I receive one parcel that is going to Afghanistan. The destination is Afghanistan and airmail. Okay. This is just warning message. No. I need to relax the measure because it was blocking message. I go to national management. And here is a global one. Yeah, global one blocks the operation. I relax it a little bit. Then I can add, even if I get warning message. So after that, I go to parcels and dispatches. Create and close dispatches. And click new. I'm sending parcel to Afghanistan through Turkish Open Transit Service. So that the destination of the dispatch is Turkey, Istanbul. I click edit, then add that parcel I receive the warning message again, but I can add. And IPS has already recognized that it is sent adequate open transit through Turkey. Then you see CP87. For instance, a conveyance charge was calculated based on the based on the value on the CP82. Yeah, CP82 said that a conveyance charge for Afghanistan is 1.8 SDR per half kilo unit, and the weight of the item is 12 kilo, so that it has 24 units, 24 half kilo units, and I will multiply it by 1.8, so that it comes to this one. So it's the same. I didn't use this one because this is the dummy one. I used the real inward run rates payable to Afghanistan. And it's for it's similar for returned parcel. Let me check if which country yeah, let me check if I set return charge for which destination, which origin country. Okay, Germany. Yeah, before I create dispatch to Germany, I need to check configuration of EAD status checks. I go to Germany. If it is a very strict one, I would relax the measure. Okay. I will return parcel to Germany. I scan item identifier, which is return parcel coming from Germany to Albania, then return to the origin. Identifier would be like end with DE Germany. The original post is Germany, and I'm returning. And the destination country should be original destination country. It should not be. It must not be Germany. It must be Albania. And wait, then set mail category. I copy it. I will create one dispatch to Germany. It's airmail. Deutsche Post. And edit. Okay, being returned. And IPS will have pop-up menu to check CP77 values. And if I close dispatch, IPS generated CP87 with column 7 and column 8, column 9. So here is the inward run rate plus some other charges, and this is the air conveyance charges. Those are payable to the country, to the operator who returns the parcel from origin country. And if you need some more information, you have guide, so-called transition guide, on your folder, on your FTP folder. Should be IPS 2021. In the documentation, you have parcel bill rates transition guide. It's on your FTP folder. So if you open and see transition guide, you can see more additional information. And if you have any question, you can ask me now, or you can email me. Okay, I presented what I wanted to do today. Do you have any comments and questions?
Any question?
Việt Nam không? Chúng ta mới được trình bày Việt Nam đó phải chạy lại tôi được tranh trên mát không phải được mày đại
nhầm suốt cả buổi vừa anh này đó anh gì tôi này trong giờ dịp tôi cả đi tôi ta nhung vô còn tôi nhung suốt cả
ai chỉ được một chỗ nó không chạy tay lên
Sorry, Keso-san, I try to understand the question from my colleague.
Yes.
I try to. Okay,
no problem.
Cái how say pay trận còn Keso-san, if you could go back to the screen with the
yes.
say pay. Example CP77, CP77. Okay. This the role name return charge $9.73 or
yes
XDR. Is it possible to edit, to change?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can edit. And for return charge, there are two ways. Let me cancel. Let me remove the item from the dispatch. Okay, I reopen the dispatch. Reopen. And this is the one I closed. First, I edit and remove and store and exit. Then I will add the same parcel again, then being returned. Okay. Okay. Let me Let me scan the new parcel, new returning parcel. You will then see the process from the beginning. Okay, one of the possibility is a change. Change the return charge when you issue. I see. Sorry. When you print CP77, before you print CP77. I scan B, then I go into C scan. So here. You don't have a possibility, but I think if I go to national management, national parameters, and CP77, search by CP77. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Sorry, there's no possibility when you change the return charge when you print CP77, but you can. Let me go back to the configuration screen. Accounting process, parcel rate management. This is the new screen, and return rates. And I open return charge to Deutsche Post. Normally, return charge, you use return charge, the IRR for yourself, but you can configure it. Then you can change the return charge. For instance, if you want charge maybe 1 SDR per parcel and 0.5 SDR per kilogram as a return charge, you can configure it, or you can just leave. You can just set single return charge per parcel. It's up to you. You can control. Did I ask you? Did I reply your question?
Air conveyor rate. Hey, Susan, the question is, where do you get the value for the air conveyor rate, the 0.3?
Yeah, I believe Cambodia Post. It should be coming from CP87 of Cambodia Post. You set a conveyance rate to the destination.
Really?
So if you look at your CP82, it should have air conveyance rate.
Okay, we will check. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. You're welcome. Do you have any other question, comment? Of course, I can. And you
no
can
more
email
question
me.
at this point.
Okay, and you can email me if you have any question.
One more
please. Yes.
question. Sorry.
No problem. My pleasure.
My IT want to see how to set up the exchange rate in the CDS.
Okay, exchange rate. Yeah. For exchange rate. For exchange rate, there are several options. Yeah, two options. Okay. Okay. While I'm opening the SOAP UI API, I will show you a user interface of the CDS. In the CDS user interface, you have okay, maybe it is in. Yeah, there is one screen to manage exchange rate. Exchange rate. Just a moment, sorry. Okay, there are user interface to manage exchange rate. And the other possibility is using API to inject exchange rate. Maybe using interface, API interface to inject exchange rate to the CDS can be useful than okay, here, convert currency. Yeah, you can use convert currency method, or you can use I'm trying to find, just a moment, please. Manage exchange rate, organization exchange rate. Okay, just a moment, please. Okay. I hope this one has managed. Yeah, sometimes some operator hides unnecessary things to the background. Hoping it has managed exchange here. Manage organization specific exchange rates. I think you have this screen. From this screen, you can add exchange rate. Or you can try to use CDS API to inject exchange rate for particular exchanges, currency exchanges. Okay, do you have any questions so far? Yeah, if you come up with many questions, I can have a follow-up session, of course.
Yeah, just 1 second. I check with my colleague. I've signed your support on it. Through extra support exchange rate นั่นน่ะแต่เรายังโยบี local bank หรืออะไร Okay. Kaiso-san, it's not really related to the system, but just the method. We set the exchange rate for the currency. Where do we get the exchange rate? Where is the sources of the exchange rate that we could use?
Yes, for exchange rate, yeah, you can use any exchange rate. It's really up to you. For your information, IPS.post, which is a web version of CDS.post. CDS.post is using exchange rate from Reuters.
Okay.
So if you use Reuters exchange rate, it could be the same as other posts that are using CDS.post.
All right. Let me pass him the message. Chứ có recommend những tôi là nó CDS website của mình là muốn chúng tôi tới exchange rate. Nè, xây dựng CDS. You could show that website for the exchange rate.
Currently, I don't have the website.
Okay. That's fine. That's all right.
Okay. Okay, do you have any other questions and comments?
No, I think nothing else from us.
Okay, yes. Yeah, please tell me anytime if you have any question by email,
yeah,
and if you need another session, I will organize, of course.
Yes, we will do.
Okay,
thank you.
I'll stop recording.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, hoping it was a useful session for you.
I talked to my IT colleague. It is very useful for them, for my IT colleague. And I hope we can have another session for the user.
Yes, of course. And before organizing the another session, could you give me a list of questions? Then I can prepare for it.
Yes,
it can be more, yeah.
Really
okay, thank you very much for your time, and have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. You too. Have a good day.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.